Hey guys, welcome to another English commentary by Diggity, and I'm going to give some spoilers out here, so if you haven't seen the other matches, go ahead and exit and go watch the rest of the matches, and then come back to this. I wanted to kind of comment on the opening, first of all. MSL openings drive me nuts, because first of all, they play them way too much, and that's one reason I left it in here, because you'll see it comes up again. But another hilarious thing is they have Bisu and Savior featured in it, and so for the rest of the time they're going to have to show Savior and Bisu in there, and they're already out of the MSL. I can't even believe I'm saying that. And it could be an absolute disaster if Mind gets knocked out in the next round. They're going to have absolutely, until the ladder features, they're really not going to have anyone of prominence in the video that's kind of expected to win. Maybe Nada. Nada's, yeah, a former champion, but we'll see. I didn't see a really good Jadong shot in there, and really he's favored. I didn't see a really good anytime shot in there. Honestly, I think he might do well. Zelos as well. So who knows? See, we're going to get another view at it. You've got Mind, you've got Savior, or I'm sorry, Bisu and then Savior. What the frick? So then you be careful, and then obviously smattering of some of the other players. Following up Nada. I love Nada, but I don't know if he's in a position to really be a favorite in this MSL season. Anyway, just so you guys know how this works, because I know there might be a few new players coming into this season. This is going to be basically you have the first two matches, and then you have the winners match and it's the two winners of each of those matches playing the winners match. Then there's the losers match, and the loser of the winners match plays the winner of the losers match in this final matchup, which is what this is right here. So to kind of review what's already happened thus far, Cal ended up losing to Anytime, so he went to the losers match where he beat Savior. And Savior lost to Ruby in the first round, and then again lost, so he was eliminated. And then yeah, now we have the final match between Cal and Ruby. So Anytime advances, and he's going to be seeded first, and Savior out, and this is going to determine who the second seed is. And that's another reason I like the MSL and the double elimination format, because every game counts. And I know in the OSL, sometimes in the MSL you don't end up with a complete race mix, but in the OSL it just feels like there's a lot of throwaway games, and sometimes people just don't play as hard as they would normally as a result of that. So we got Cal starting in the bottom left-hand corner in green, and we got Ruby starting in the upper right-hand corner in red. This is Blue Storm. Blue Storm's known for a lot of proxying. We'll see if they proxy it out here. Interestingly enough, I think in the Protoss versus Terran game, one thing that ends up key, and that we'll see is at the secondary, we'll see the secondary in a minute, because again, I'm realizing there might be some new viewers here, is there's kind of a shell of map artifacts along the secondary. There's a gap that Zealots only can get, as far as Protoss units, only Zealots and Probes can get through. And almost every other unit has to go all the way around. So it kind of creates a reinforcement gap for basically larger units. For Protoss players, Vultures and tanks also have to go all the way around, but Marines can slip straight through. Interestingly enough, what you can do is you can kind of have a Vulture blockade as you approach that secondary, and you can siege tanks right behind it and then kind of shell the secondary there. So that really, it makes it somewhat difficult for the Protoss players, and then the Protoss players actually coming kind of from the north in Cal's position. You'll see the reinforcements coming down from the north as opposed to being able to meet them head on. Looks like Ruby's going for a standard build. Usually if you're going to see cheese, they go barracks first and do it close to the Protoss base. And I saw I saw Cal put down that pylon, which is now building. So yeah, he's also not going for cheese. Usually if you see that pylon to go down first, they're in fact going for kind of a standard plane. Putting a pylon to the north, it looks like he might be worried about drops in the late games. They're going to put that pylon out to the north. One, maybe to confuse Ruby a little bit, to make sure that when he comes to his base, he's missing. He may think that Cal's behind in supply. Maybe if Ruby saw that last game, Cal in that last game versus Savior, even though he came out ahead, made some key macro mistakes in my opinion. He was looking a little bit sloppy, and I think that might be because he's a newer player and he has a little bit of nervous tension. Really, I think when Cal reaches his stride, when I said in my write-up on SC2GG, by the way, I've been doing those for all these groups. I just did a write-up actually on Group D. It's Simulator up and now Mining Gas, single Zealot coming out, but that looks like at SCV he's going to be able to get a scout out. Interestingly enough, I said basically Cal's a new player, and I think he's just a little bit raw at this point to really go deep. Honestly, I didn't predict him beating Savior twice. I was hoping Savior would pull out, but honestly, I didn't rule it out. as a possibility, because really it comes down to nerves. And I think once Cal kind of settles down and is very comfortable in TV and pressure situation play, just because he grows accustomed to it and has more experience doing it, I think he might end up being one of those really dominant players around the league. And we'll see. I'm not going to say he's going to win all the future MSLs. I'm just saying I think we're seeing good things from Cal, but I think he's going to be great in the future. And Ruby has an interesting formation here. Cal pushing up with that Zealot and almost catching Ruby off guard. He's got those 2 Marines and trying to almost push in. Interesting barrack kind of supply depot formation there, opting not to seal his front door, which you'll see other Terran players do. Not going to seal his front door so he can leave it wide open for reinforcements from the factory, I guess. And now we're going to see a little bit of interesting micromanagement between the single Zealot and those 3 Marines. And I think this is going to work out to Cal's favor, because if he manages to take out any of these Marines, which I think he's going to be able to, putting up the machine shop now, that's going to force Cal to continue to build Marines just to kind of supplement that force. He is going to be able to get, well, actually pulling back now. We'll see if he'll be able to, that 1 Marine, very weak though. He might be able to take 1 Marine. In the meantime, what he's going to do is that forces Ruby to pay attention to those Marines, because honestly, Marines take a lot more micromanagement than Zealots. He did manage to take out a single Marine and weaken the second, so as you can see, 2 more Marines are going to have to be produced